Always a pleasure to catch up with the LSU head coach, Brian Kelly. Year 2 in the SEC now. You're the old pro at this now. You're not the new guy on the block.
Yeah, I was trying to find my way around here last year at this time, Chris. But, I mean, it's exciting, right? We're back at football and being in the SEC. It's a challenge, each and every week, it. But our kids are excited about it. Obviously we had Jayden Daniels here. Obviously Mekhi Wingo, one of our defensive linemen. It just for us, it just feels like we've got a better sense of, what we need to do to be consistent. And that's a great thing.
I know, look, when LSU's been successful, they've been running back by committee. I know you've got some really good running backs. You mentioned Josh Williams. He's a Houston kid, former walk-on.
Love Josh.
And you go and get a kid. I'm an Archbishop Rummel Raider. You go get a fellow guy in Logan Diggs.
Yeah.
When LSU's successful in pounding the rock, it's everybody's bringing something to the table, right?
No doubt. And it starts with that offensive line where we started 2 freshmen last year. And now, we bring back a veteran offensive line in the sense that they've played together. And that physicality with depth at the running back position is how we want this offense to run. We found the tight end situation now. That's a whole lot clearer. When we sat down and talked last year, I didn't know who the starting 5 offensive linemen were going to be. I didn't know who the tight end was going to be. We knew we had some running backs, but now we're in a different place with depth at quarterback. Obviously, the running back situation, which we talked about, and then O-line is going to be a strength for us as well.
Have you ever had a turnaround that quick where you go from O-line is looking like a weakness to a year later it's a huge strength?
No, because we had 2 freshmen play for us, and I've never had 2 true freshmen play at a high level.
Right.
So that infusion of talent immediately turned this thing around so quickly. Usually you got to wait another year before you see that, but it happened quicker because of the 2 true freshmen.
You said it today. Jayden Daniels is your starting quarterback. Obviously, he brings a lot to the table. We've heard about his improvement. Garrett Nussmeier, obviously, in the few opportunities he's had, he's shown bright. How do you balance both? How do you play Garrett and keep Jayden as the starter?
Well, I think you keep competition alive. As I said, Jayden's got to keep improving. He's got to have a great camp because if he doesn't, Nussmeier could beat him out. So I think you just keep that option open that you're the number 1, but you got a guy that is as good and can be the starter here as well. So you just keep that competition open and you never say never. And I think that's been a healthy environment. I think both have prospered from it and both actually have gotten better because of it.
You've obviously recruited well. You continue to recruit well. 2024 is building. You've also managed the transfer portal very well. Is your roster, you got to build this thing. Rome wasn't built in a day, but is your roster where you'd like it to be, or does it still have room to get where you want it to be?
Oh, it has room. I think when you take 16 and the transfer portal is probably a little too many for me. I'd like to say that should be closer to 8 in the transfer portal where you're taking positions and topping the tank off, so to speak. I think we're a little heavy on defense because we had holes that were recognizable. So I think we're a year away. I think next year you'll see a less number and more in the freshman class.
What surprised you most when we talk about lessons learned? What surprised you most in year 1 in the SEC?
How difficult it is on the road.
I mean, you knew it was tough, but it was even tougher, maybe tougher than you imagined.
I think when you go into those environments and they're still full and they don't leave and their team is 500 or less, you go, what? This is different. This is a crazy environment. So I just think being on the road and winning on the road in the SEC is as difficult as any environment that I've gone into. And so you expect, they're SEC teams, but you don't expect them to be, that difficult to play when they're not having great seasons.
You opened the season with a familiar opponent, Florida State, a team you saw a year ago. Unfortunately, Coach, I know you know this, they bring a lot back. And unfortunately, it's going to be a tough test. But even last year, when you guys were, you beat Alabama and the season's winding down, your name was still getting thrown around. Hey, if LSU can win this thing out, they can get in the playoff.
Sure.
So it's a big game, but even still, even if you lose, your season's not dead.
No, we're not even looking at it that way as much as we're looking at we've used this as a great motivation for our off-season training and conditioning because we know how good of a football team they are.
Right.
So there's great respect in Florida State. The rest of it is about us. It's how we prepare and it's how we play. We're so much different as a football team as we were last year. We put the ball on the ground so many times. Jayden Daniels was his first time as a quarterback. This will be a different version of LSU. And I know they're better too. So that's going to be the case. But we're excited about the matchup. We don't look at, what if this happens or that happens. We're much more excited about the opportunity of playing a really good football team.
Okay, forget football a second. I heard you just got back from Europe.
I did.
We did Scotland and Ireland 10 days.
Great. Where'd you go in Scotland?
We did Edinburgh.
Beautiful.
We did, where else did we go? We went all over. Scotland. We went up to the Highlands.
Beautiful.
Saw those weird looking cows they have, that.
Yep.
And then, of course, we did Ireland, Cliffs of Moher, all that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
There's Notre Dame stuff everywhere, by the way.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Where
were you?
Crazy. So we were up in Inverness, just north. We were we're members at a place called the Carnegie Club, Skibo Castle, which is up by the Dornoch Firth. So it's northern Scotland.
Okay.
Then we were in Amsterdam for a few days, and then we finished at Lake Como in Italy.
Oh, nice.
So it's great because nobody knows Coach Kelly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's nice to get away with the wife, and my daughter was studying in Europe, so we got a chance to pick her up and have a nice. It was about a week, so it was nice.
We went up to Loch Ness. We didn't see Nessie though.
No.
So I was looking.
Didn't expect that. Nor were you going to see Bigfoot if you went up north here either.
He is Coach Brian Kelly, not a believer in Bigfoot or Nessie. Best of luck, Coach. A fantastic year one, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you. Good having me on. Appreciate it.
Head Coach Brian Kelly there.